Let's try and make sense of the super smash at Sydney. Joining me on the show, Professor Salvatore Bebonis, American sociologist and associate professor of sociology at the University of Sydney. Joins us from Australia, Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar is former top diplomat, Syed Zafar Islam, Member of Parliament and spokesperson of the BJP, and Salman Soz represents the Congress on the broadcast. Professor Bebonis, if I could begin by asking you, you met the Prime Minister earlier today. What's been the buzz on this community event at Sydney?
Well, first of all, the most important thing to realize about this community event is that it is or was a community event. This was not organized by the Australian government. This was not organized by the Indian government. This was very much organized by the Indian-Australian community here in Australia. And I know that because I know several of the people who were involved. They were contributing their own time, their own money to make this happen. And they were incredibly excited to have this opportunity to have Mr. Modi speak to them. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Modi went ahead with his trip to Australia not to meet Anthony Albanese. I mean, let's face it, once the Quad Summit was moved to Japan, there wasn't much reason for Mr. Modi to come to Australia except, well, two things, I guess, to attend this event and maybe to meet me. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't to meet me. That wasn't the reason he came. It was for the community.
Right. Salman Soz, what do you make, one, of the event at Sydney and of, for example, the US President saying, I should take your autograph, when he said that to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, or that people are seeking tickets for that state dinner with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and that the US President is running out of tickets, or the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea touching his feet, or the Australian Prime Minister calling Prime Minister Narendra Modi boss at this event? Salman Soz, can you hear me?
Gaurav, I can't really hear what you said. I could hear the other gentleman from Australia. I can't really hear you. Your voice is very garbled. I'll have to log back in.
Okay, you log back in. If you can still hear me, let me put that question to you once again. What do you make of this community event at Sydney? Okay, I think we will have to wait for Salman Soz once again. But Syed Zafar Islam, the Congress says, whenever the Prime Minister declares a note ban, or whenever a note ban is declared in India, the Prime Minister is on a foreign tour. He went on a tour after 500 and 1,000 rupee notes when that note ban happened. He's gone again once the 2,000 rupee note is being withdrawn. They see nothing more to his trip overseas.
Well, let me first clarify, correct you rather, that there is no note ban. It is a withdrawal process, which is a very fairly standard process as far as RBI is concerned. As the government has nothing to do with it. It is the decision of the RBI. And as a matter of policy, new note policy or clean policy, new note clean policy, which RBI follows, every 5 years, 7 years, they do replace the old notes, and which is what they are doing. So they never, in all their circulars, they have never mentioned that this note is not a legal tender. It continues to be a legal tender. I think you should see the point number 5 of the RBI circular. So it is very unfair for anyone to make this kind of a statement when the legal tender is, all these 2,000 note is a legal tender in the country. As far as his visit is concerned, you see what a massive reception he is getting everywhere, wherever he goes. I mean, it's a moment of pride for all Indians. I think the Congress party, instead of having this kind of differences, having this kind of a petty-mindedness, they should also appreciate that you have a Prime Minister whose popularity is being acknowledged by the President of America.
Okay.
People say that the most powerful man on the earth is always the President of America. And see what he has to say. He said that your popularity is unprecedented, unmatched. Even when I am inviting people in White House for dinner, it never used to happen when a president or prime minister of another country come or visits or come over for dinner. The invitation card is still, many invitation cards is still is there in their office, and they can accommodate more people if should they want to accommodate. But here all the invitation has gone, And still, there are huge demand for people
So
to
you're
attend
saying the Prime
event
Minister's
or the
popularity
dinner.
is
That only suggests that
unmatched
you have
globally.